What is the spiritual dream meaning of flowers?
What if the flower you dreamed about last night was trying to save your life? And look, I know that sounds dramatic. It's not.
You know, when Georgia O'Keeffe painted flowers, they were enormous. So stripped down to their raw essence that you had no choice but to stop and feel what you'd normally just walk past. But here's the thing. She didn't do it for art. She did it for survival.
See, what most people don't know is that back in 1932, O'Keeffe had a complete psychological breakdown. I mean, the pressure of New York, the suffocating shadow of her famous husband, the noise, the expectations, it broke her.
She ended up hospitalized. She couldn't paint. For a full year, she put down her brushes. She was unable to create, barely able to even function.
So what did she do? She ran. She went to New Mexico, all alone. She just went deep into the raw, silent desert to try and find a way back to herself.
And you know what brought her back? What stitched her soul back together? It was the land, the bones, the silence, and the flowers. That Jimson weed, blooming white and wild, right there against the red dust.
She painted that flower 4 feet wide. She actually said, "Nobody sees a flower, really. It is so small, we haven't time, and to see takes time." She was literally forcing you to see. Look, this wasn't just about making pretty art. This was her psyche speaking to her through beauty, using the only language that could get through all that noise. And this is where it connects directly to you. Your dreams, they are doing the exact same thing.
Okay, so let's talk about the language your own mind is using right now, the one you are probably ignoring every single morning. Just ask yourself this right now. When you dream of flowers, what do you feel? Is it peace or is it grief? And in your dream, are those flowers blooming? Are they full of life? Or are they dying? Are they wilting?
And finally, think about this. Are you holding them, or are you just watching them from a distance, totally unable to touch them? Listen, these are not just decorative details. This is the precise, targeted language your subconscious is using because, frankly, it cannot get your attention any other way. The images your brain picks out when you're asleep are never, ever random. They are curated from the archive of your emotional life. And when it chooses a flower, your mind is tapping into the oldest symbolic vocabulary we have as humans. I mean, across every single culture on this earth, flowers represent that intersection of beauty and impermanence, life at its most vivid and also its most fragile. So, how do you decode it? Well, spiritually and psychologically, flowers and dreams operate on 3 different levels, all at the same time.
All right, so here they are. First, there's your soul state. Second, they act as transition markers. And third, they are relational signals. And these all work together.
Let's break that down. Soul state basically means the flower is a mirror. A wilting flower in your dream, that's not some bad omen. It is a direct reflection of something inside you that is begging for water, for attention, for care. And that is life-saving information right there. Next up, transition markers. Flowers, they bloom and they die, right? So when they show up in your dreams during a period of grief, or when you're facing a huge decision, or even a time when you just feel numb, they are marking a threshold. Your mind is telling you, hey, you are crossing from one version of yourself into another. This isn't passive, it demands your participation. And finally, relational signals. O'Keeffe's paintings were never just about flowers. And the flowers in your dreams, they carry the emotional weight of your most important relationships, what's flourishing, what's being neglected, and maybe even what has already died. This matters. It matters urgently. So now it's your turn.
Why? Because we are taught to minimize our inner lives, aren't we? That little sentence, "it was just a dream," that is one of the most dangerous things you can ever say to yourself. Your dreaming mind is not wasting your sleep. It is not just generating random nonsense. It is doing the most important work of your life. It's sending you messages in your mother tongue, the language of symbol and soul that lives way deeper than words. The difference is all about engagement. Georgia O'Keeffe, she engaged with the symbol. She stared it down. She worked to understand it. She painted it until nobody could possibly ignore it. But the common response? We walk away from it. We ignore it. We forget it by breakfast. We call it just a dream. It was that choice, the choice to engage, that saved her. So the next time your dream hands you a flower, there's really only one question that matters. What are you going to do with it?
Part 2. All right, let's get right into it. And let's be clear, these dreams aren't just some fluffy, abstract symbols from your subconscious.
No, these are active messages. They're urgent. Think of them like a flare being shot up from your soul, and they absolutely demand a response. Your quality of life, maybe even your life itself, depends on you reading them correctly. So first up, we're talking about the dreams that are basically blaring alarm bells. These are the ones you cannot afford to hit snooze on. You have to listen, and you have to listen right now.
Okay, seeing wilting or dying flowers in a dream, it terrifies people. But it shouldn't. This is not some omen of death, it's actually something way more practical and honestly, way more urgent. It's designed to wake you up. I want you to burn this term into your brain, drought alarm. This is not a gentle hint. This is your psyche screaming that a critical line has been crossed. Something vital is being starved. And if you ignore it, that neglect will harden into a permanent state of disconnection. So the response has to be immediate. Don't sit and analyze it for a week. Name the drought. Right now. Is it your relationship, your art, your own self-care? And then today, not tomorrow, you take one single action. You make the call, you write one page, you book that appointment, you do not wait. Now, this one's tough, I get it, but it's survivable. Seeing dead or black flowers means something is already over. It's done. A relationship, a job, a version of you, but you're still carrying the body around. Your psyche is demanding you finally hold the funeral. This means you have to do some active grief work. You have to name what's dead, put it on paper, write a short eulogy for it, what it taught you, what was good, and what you are now releasing. Then close the book. This isn't about being dark, it's about setting yourself free. It's the only way forward.
Ah, this dream. This is the absolute picture of frustration, isn't it? It's that feeling of creative blockage, of spiritual stagnation. It shows up when you know you're capable of so much more, but something, somewhere, is keeping that potential locked down.
And this is the question you have to face. Who or what is keeping you small? Is it your own fear? Are you waiting for some perfect moment that's never going to come? Or is it the environment you're in, the people around you? You have to identify the source of the lockdown. Because let's be honest, so often the thing keeping us small is our relationships, which is why your dreams will often perform what is basically a relationship audit. It's time to look at the books. And how you react in the dream tells you everything you need to know. If you accept flowers with joy, that's a green light. It means your soul is open. But if you refuse the gift, pay attention. That is a massive red flag. It's revealing a deep, false story you're telling yourself that you aren't worthy of receiving. This dream, this is a classic for anyone who overgives. It shows up when you're desperate for acknowledgement that just isn't coming back to you. Or, even simpler, you're just running on fumes because you give every last bit of yourself away and keep nothing. So I want you to ask yourself this and be brutally honest. In your most important relationships, are you the one doing all the giving? If that ratio is way off, this dream is your psyche filing a formal complaint. It's staging an intervention. It's telling you to stop, right now, and fix the imbalance. But look, not all of these dreams are warnings. Some are actually profound calls to action. They signal that growth, freedom, a real breakthrough is right around the corner. Think about wildflowers. They don't ask for permission to grow. They don't wait for perfect soil. They just bloom, wildly, wherever they land. Dreaming of them means your soul is starving for that kind of freedom, the freedom to just be yourself, untamed and alive. Now listen to this one. If you dream of a flower blooming rapidly, like in a time lapse, you need to pay very close attention. This is a sign of imminent transformation. Your subconscious is telling you something is ready to pop. And whatever you've been hesitating on, you need to make a decision. You've got about 48 hours. Seriously, that window is real. This dream tends to appear when you are fighting way too hard, when you're trying to control an outcome you just can't. It's an invitation from your soul to just let go, trust the current, release your white-knuckle grip, and let yourself be carried where you need to go. And then there's this. A very rare, very sacred dream. Flowers growing directly out of your wounds or out of rubble. This is your psyche showing you one of the deepest truths there is. It's a sign of post-traumatic growth.
It's saying that something beautiful, something powerful, is emerging not in spite of where you broke, but because of it.
So you see, all of these interpretations, all these signs, they all point to one place. They aren't just things to think about. They are a demand for direct, unflinching action.
And sometimes the most powerful message is the simplest one. A single flower and an empty space. This minimalist dream has a maximalist message. It's for the person who has everything in their life except silence. It's a profound call to strip away all the noise.
And the action here isn't complicated. It's simple, but it's essential. For 1 week, commit to 10 minutes of total silence every day. That means no phone, no music, no input whatsoever. Just sit and listen. Whatever comes up, that's the conversation your soul has been trying to have with you all this time.
Because that's what this all comes down to, isn't it? After all the signals and warnings and invitations, it comes down to this one question. What noise? What distraction? What person? What excuse? What are you finally going to cut out of your life so you can hear your own voice? The answer is already there. It's waiting for you in the silence.
Part 3. And this is where the real work begins. Okay, so you saw yourself in part 2. Good. That was the easy part. Now comes the part that's not optional, the action. Because let's be real, recognition without action, it's just a nice feeling that's completely gone by Tuesday. We're going to cover a few different ways in. Find the one that calls to you and start today. First things first, we've got to talk about the tools. This is how you actually capture the messages from your inner life before they just vanish. We've got 4 different methods here, and each one is designed for a different way of seeing the world. There's the 60-second log for the woman who has no time, the symbol dictionary for the analytical mind, the creative rendering for the artist, and the letter from the flower for the quiet, introspective woman. I promise, one of these is for you. For the woman who's always saying she's too busy, you have 60 seconds. I know you do. So tomorrow morning, before your hand even touches your phone, you're going to write down 1 sentence about your dream. Just 1. If you can't do this, you're choosing to live on the surface. And yeah, that's as serious as it sounds. Now, for the analytical woman who needs data, who needs a framework, this is not some woo-woo exercise. This is data collection on your own psyche. You're going to build a symbol dictionary. Why? Because a woman who tracks nothing changes nothing. And you already know that's true. And look how simple this is. You're just tracking the flower type, its color, its condition, is it blooming or wilting, how you felt, and what was going on in your life at the time. You do this for a month, and the patterns that show up, they won't just be feelings. They'll be undeniable data. For my creative women, I need you to take 10 minutes, just 10, and paint it, sketch it, draw your dream flower. The second you start to create it, it stops being a passive symbol and it starts a conversation with you. Every day you don't do this, a little part of you goes dark. Consider this your intervention. And for the introverted woman, the one who processes things deep inside, I want you to write a letter, but it's from the flower to you. This little trick, it bypasses your critical mind and it lets your unconscious speak directly. You already know things that you haven't admitted to yourself yet. This is how you find out what they are. Okay, you see how this is building? We're taking these insights and we're forging them into a compass, a real practical compass you can use to navigate the biggest challenges in your actual waking life. For the woman in a difficult relationship, if the flowers in your dreams are always wilting, always dying, your soul is delivering a data report that your loyalty is trying to ignore. Ignoring this, it has a cost, and you are already paying it. So, are you dreaming of flowers while you're standing at some major crossroads in your life? Paralyzed by a choice? Good. Your dream is a decision-making tool. It's time to use it. Here's the absolute key. Your psyche has already run the numbers. It's already processed all the data. So try this. Consult the bloom. You assign a flower to path A and a different one to path B. The one that feels like life, like warmth, like opening up. That's the direction your soul is already pointing. For the woman walking through grief right now, your psyche is already trying to do the ceremonial work. So help it. Take a real flower, one you can hold. Speak what you're grieving out loud to it, and then just let it die naturally. You have to understand, unprocessed grief doesn't just evaporate, it relocates. This is a way through. And what about this one? What if you're rebuilding after trauma, and you keep dreaming of flowers growing right out of the ruins, or from wounds or rubble? Well, your inner world is telling you exactly what it needs you to do next. Your nervous system needs evidence, not just nice ideas. It needs physical, tangible evidence that you can touch. So plant something real, a seed in a pot on your windowsill, a bulb in the ground. You have to give it proof that life comes back, that your care can create a bloom, that the damage is not the final word. So, how do we make this actually stick? Let's talk about committing to this practice, about making this a real, sustainable part of your life, not just another thing you tried once. To the spiritual woman who already has her rituals, I want you to add a 3-minute flower dream reflection. That's it. Just ask the flower, what are you here to show me? And then actually listen. Because spiritual practice without this kind of personal, raw self-knowledge, it's just theater. This is how you close that gap. And for the woman who knows she needs community, share one dream once a week with one trusted person. You cannot do this work in isolation. You just can't. You need a witness. Because the woman who doesn't have one carries the entire weight of her inner world alone, and that weight just gets heavier. To the high-achieving woman, the one who is running on empty but just keeps pushing. Every single high-functioning woman who eventually crashes says the exact same thing afterward. I saw the signs. I just didn't stop. So you're going to schedule it, pull out your calendar, and book a weekly soul check-in. This is not an indulgence. It's not a luxury. It is strategic maintenance of the most critical system you will ever run, you. So stop, briefly, now. Which brings us to the final, pivotal call to action. And this is aimed directly at the woman who has never, ever taken her own dreams seriously. Listen up. The door is now open. And the way through that door is so much simpler than you think. It all begins with one. Take one dream seriously this week. I am not asking for a lifetime commitment here. Just one. Sit with it. Write down what you feel it means, not what some website says. The very first time you truly honor a message from your dream world, everything shifts. A door has just opened that you probably forgot was even there. That now that you can feel it, now that you know it's there, can you really just pretend it doesn't exist anymore?